Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And today I'm going to talk about acceptance, which is one of my favorite topics to talk about. I'm going to read a meditation. I'm going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to share a quote that I had heard from Oprah about forgiveness and acceptance that I live by and I love. I had heard it a long time ago, and then I heard it again in a video. It was one of her aha moments about when she learned what forgiveness was. And it's so powerful and it's so profound to me that I want to share it with you guys as well. So, you know, for me, this is kind of an important video to make and talking about acceptance. I want to do some funny story times over here as well. So I think going forward, you're going to see some of those. Yesterday on my review channel, Peter Review Stuff, I reviewed these humongous lip balms, and I told this story of me being a kid and using lip gloss and stuff like that. And I had so much fun making that video. It reminded me a lot of some of the videos I made when I very first got on YouTube. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do some of these story times over on my Peterisms channel as well. Just stories about my life. That was my plan when I started this channel, and it kind of moved into the direction of me doing meditations, which I love. But I want to do some story times over here as well. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. If that's something that you would like, I would love to hear your feedback. If it's not, then say, hey, no, I don't want to hear your stories over here. You can save that for your other 6,000 channels. So today I want to read a meditation from Meditations for Living in Balance, Daily Solutions for People Who Do Too Much. So these are meditations for finding balance, finding calm and peace and serenity. You know, I'm all about peace and serenity. So I wanted to read this meditation. I have not actually read it. I opened it and it said May 1st acceptance, and I thought, oh my God, this is perfect. When is not a perfect time to practice acceptance, you know? And having been a person in recovery for 24 years now, you know, acceptance is something that comes up often in discussions with people that are sober. And what's interesting to me about it is that at some point in my life, I kind of like this whole idea of acceptance. I was like, well, what's my alternative? You know, like, I don't know where it just occurred to me one day, this kind of natural resistance I have to accepting things in my life. You know, it's like my alternative to acceptance is bitterness, misery, resentment, and anger. And really, I'm the one that's resisting that. So the only alternative to acceptance is me standing in the way of myself and my happiness. And why would I want to do that? So acceptance is really the way to freedom. It took me a long time to, you know, understand that. And there's a whole passage about acceptance. There's a whole story about it in the basic text of Alcoholics Anonymous. And it's one of my all-time favorite passages of any recovery book, any basic text out there, you know, and it references that acceptance is the answer to all of my problems today. And when I look at situations in my life, you know, situations that I'm not necessarily happy with, and I look at what are my options, like I just said, you know, like what's my alternative to not accepting that? You know, I have to look at things and say, okay, this is how it is, and what am I going to do with it now? And that's kind of what Oprah talks about in her quote, and so I want to say that to you in just a second. But anyway, May 1st, acceptance, and the quote is from a Hurricane Floyd survivor. You kind of have to work with what you got and accept what you get. These words from a woman standing in the mud next to a wrecked home and business sounded pretty profound to me. How much easier our lives would be if we could work with what we got and accept what we get. Working with what we have is not always easy. First, we have to see what we have. I worked for a man once who was the best administrator I have ever known. He ran the department in an easy, casual way, encouraging each of us to be creative, productive professionals. He himself was a high producer, yet he never put any pressure on his employees. He respected their gifts and uniqueness and was good at what he did. Unfortunately, he didn't value his excellent skills. He wanted to be a theorizer and creative thinker. He was always restless and dissatisfied. He was good at accepting what he would get in employees, and he was not good at valuing and honoring what he had. When we use what we have and accept what we get, life flows. Take a look at your attitude toward working with what you have and accepting what you get. It's really interesting, you know, there was a point in my life and I was talking to this, you know, a mentor of mine who was a counselor as well, and we were talking about like what I wanted to be when I was like in high school, and I said, you know me, like what I wanted to be, and I told people like, because I always wanted to be a writer, you know, and I would tell people that, and I said, are also like my pipe dreams in my head, and she said, pipe dreams in your head, okay, dream big, and I said, I don't know, when I was in high school, you know, I wanted to be like rock star, you know, like, I don't know, movie star, you know, like in my fantasy world, in my head, I always played that out. I knew it wasn't going to be the case, but, you know, and I would be like, or a model, and she was like, a model, and I was like, yeah, I just always, you know, I've loved fashion. I wanted to be a fashion designer at one point in my life. I really thought I would go into that. You know, I thought it would be really fun to be like a runway model and walk the runway, you know, and walk the runway, and you better work. And anyway, she said, so why didn't you become a model? Right? I love when people say that kind of stuff to people. And I said, well, you know, a lot of runway models are very tall, like for men, like 6 foot to 6'2". I said, I'm 5'10". I'm not, I'm short, you know? And she said, well, we do with what we're given. And that statement has lasted with me, not just about that, because that's some pipe dream that I had, and, you know, way 30 years ago in my life. But through everything in my life, I keep on thinking of that one little statement that she said, we do with what we're given, you know? And I think about that, and I think, I am given so many things in life. I've been given so many natural talents that maybe I have that other people don't have, and maybe they have talents that I don't have, but like I always lose by comparison, right? So I have to look at what I do have. I have to look at all of those gifts that I've been given, all those natural talents that I've been given, all of those, let me fix my shirt. You know what I mean? Like I have to look at all of that and feel blessed about that. Like, wow, look at what I've been given, you know? And do with what I'm given. Instead of complaining about what I haven't been given, complaining about what I don't have. I think acceptance is looking at your life and going, okay, this is my circumstances right now. This doesn't necessarily mean that this is going to be my circumstance 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, 6 months down the road, 10 years down the road. It means this is my circumstance today. It could change, right? But today, what am I doing with what I was given? That's my options, you know? And I think that when we sit in reality and we look at what we were given and where we're at today, and we accept that as reality, and acceptance is really, to me, about looking at the truth and being like, this is the truth, okay? Like, let's not try to, you know, excuse it away. This is what you're given, and now what are you going to do with that? And I want to read you this quote, because even though this is about forgiveness, not acceptance, I love this quote. And this is from Oprah's video. You can go watch it on YouTube. If I can find it, I'll link it below. But it's Oprah's video about her aha moment about forgiveness. And this man says this to her. And I wrote down literally word for word what she said, because I think it is so profound. Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. It means accepting that it has happened to you, not accepting that it was okay. Accepting that it has happened, and now what do I do about it? So the past does not hold you hostage. And I love that so much, because I think we beat ourselves up so much about like the past and what can we do, and if I could go back and I could change this, and if I could go back and I could change that, and if, you know, and we can't, we just can't, you know. And one of the things that I've realized is, and I said this in a video not too long ago, but that sometimes 3 years down the road, things that I am like, so like, I don't understand why they're in my life today, 3 years down the road make total sense, you know? And I just, like, you know, it's interesting because I was thinking about this yesterday with her whole surrender story. And if you haven't heard me talk about Oprah's surrender story, it's fantastic. But the short part of it is what she wanted to part in the color purple. And it looked like she wasn't going to get it. So she went to this fat farm and she's walking on, and that's what she calls it, not me. And she's walking on this treadmill, or she's walking around the track. And she starts praying and she surrenders and she's like, God, obviously you don't want me to be in the color purple. Whatever you have planned for me, that's, you know, I guess my plan. And she starts singing the song. And so then as soon as she does, she says, she tells a story in this video too. She said, as soon as she does, her assistant comes outside and says, Steven Spielberg's on the phone for you. So she goes and takes the call, and Steven Spielberg says, I heard you're, you know, at a fat camp. If you lose 1 pound, the part is not yours. Do I believe that she got the part because she surrendered? No, not necessarily. I don't believe that. Do I believe that the process of surrender got her to the point where she could accept that whatever happened, whether she got the role or didn't, was supposed to happen? Sure, I do. And I think that's where it is. You know, some things that happen for me aren't meant to happen. One of the hard things is, you know, like in my past, and it still creeps in, it's one of my character defects that still creeps in, is jealousy, envy, and competition. You know, like, and I just have that in my nature. And so I try so hard, like I really love to be happy for my friends, but sometimes I struggle with it. Sometimes, you know, whether it's like, you know, back in the day it was a job promotion, or, you know, whatever. It's like, oh, my friend has a $500,000 house and I don't, or whatever it is, you know? And, you know, I think, like, I want to be the friend that is happy for that person, but sometimes that stands in that jealousy, envy, and stuff stands in the way of me being able to be that person. So I have to be really honest with myself and work on those character defects and stuff like that. Acceptance for me is realizing that their journey is completely different than mine, and I'm going to have good things in my life too, and being happy that they got what they got because they got what they got with what they were given today. I got what I got with what I'm given today. And they're completely different things, and over time what that's allowed me to do is be extremely happy for my friends, you know? That today, and I've worked really, really hard on this, you know? Is to being able to be at a point where I'm really, really happy for my friends when great things happen for them. Because I don't want to sit there and be like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. When in my heart, like, I have some bitterness because I'm like, why not me? You know what I mean? Not to say that I don't ever have those feelings anymore. And I think, you know, like, I think any of us, if we were honest at some point or another, have felt some jealousy or envy in our hearts, you know? I don't want to be that person. I don't want to feel that in my heart. I want to be happy for my friends. And acceptance is realizing that my journey is different than everybody else's. My journey is different than my neighbors. My journey is different than Alex's. My journey is different than my best friends. And so, you know, I'm going to have some things that they don't, that I'm going to get some, you know, opportunities that they don't have, like my friends, and they're going to have opportunities that I don't. Some of them are going to live in, you know, $500,000 houses, and some of them aren't. And it's okay, and we're all different. And I think it's about accepting the fact that where I'm at today is what I'm supposed to be doing with that, and being really happy. And I was talking to a friend of mine about this earlier, and I said, you know, I just have the most amazing life. Like, I really, really do. I honestly have the most amazing life. I'm so grateful about it. I speak to my higher power about it on a daily basis and just say, you know, I'm so thankful for my life and my sobriety and my health, my husband, my dogs, you know, the ability to make videos that even one person wants to watch. Just even one person out there that I've never met wants to watch something that I have to say is so powerful to me, and it means the world to me. So, you know, I have to look at that and say, when I'm trying to compare myself to other people, I have a really, really great life. There are things that I have that other people would dream to have, you know, and be thankful for that. And I think that that's what acceptance is about, is looking at exactly what I've been given and being okay with that, but also working towards being happy with that. I love you guys, and I hope that was helpful, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.